Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video we have something very exciting to talk about. Guys, I'm sure you've probably all seen by now if you're in crypto, but Bitcoin just broke a very important level of $8,000. If we come in here on the hour chart, we can see in the last couple of hours, Bitcoin has done very well and managed to push through the key level of $8,000. Guys, for the last week, I've been watching this chart, waiting to see if this was going to happen or see if we were going to get rejected, and we actually did break it. Guys, I cannot stress to you enough how important this is, and in today's video, I'm going to go over all the different resistance levels that we just broke all at once, the significance of them, and why this may be the beginning of a full-scale bull run. We're going to be covering all of that and more in today's video. So if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting the subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, because we make cryptocurrency videos every single day, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. So let's get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading back up in the 8,000s. That is a very fun price to see Bitcoin at. It's been a while, guys. Let's just take a moment and appreciate an $8,000 plus Bitcoin, because it's been a while. Oh man. Bitcoin, funnily enough, was around this price right when the channel started back in November. So this is kind of a nostalgic price level for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin being around $8,000 is nice. It's good to see that we're back up here. Volume's doing pretty well over the last 24 hours, up around 6 billion. Same thing for Ethereum. Ethereum has around $2 billion in volume. Bitcoin is up about 5.7% in the 5.7% in the last 24 hours, and the rest of the altcoins are likewise green, but they're not very green. It's interesting to see that the altcoins aren't just taking off and rallying, and this kind of ties into the part of the overall theme of today's video, that it seems that the bulls they were able to at least break this important level of resistance, but they are extremely weary and they are extremely tired, and they are very much wanting to calm down for a little bit. And it seems to be showing in the altcoins, because the altcoins aren't just taking off like Bitcoin has, and they aren't rallying 5 or 6% in 24 hours like Bitcoin has. Part of the reason for that is because, of course, a lot of the valuation in the cryptocurrency market has been flowing back into Bitcoin, as we've seen with the increase in market dominance for Bitcoin lately. But nevertheless, it's not worrisome to see that the altcoins aren't rallying, but I would like to see the altcoins doing a little bit better. Guys, I think we're going to see Bitcoin calm down for a little while now, and we're going to see the altcoins calm down for a little bit now, while the bulls regain their strength, while people go and find new funds to put into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Hopefully we can hold $8,000 as an important level of support. But over the last week or so, Bitcoin has been rallying its market dominance as well as its price, kind of gobbling up a lot of that valuation from the altcoins and putting it back into itself, which was it just seemed to me like the bulls were just throwing everything in this one last ditch attempt to actually reverse this bear market and get above these levels of resistance. And luckily they've succeeded, but it really does feel like they're just very tired and weary. But I think it's a good thing. If we can hold these levels, it's going to be great. Let's come back out here to CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin's up about 6%, like we said. Most of the altcoins are green, but they're not very green. As we can see, most of them are like 1 to 5% green. It's not a huge green, and total market capitalization is just under $300 billion. 24-hour cryptocurrency market volume is right around 18 billion. Now, let's go ahead and look in here on the hour chart and actually see what happened, because I was watching this very closely yesterday, and about an hour ago, which I was actually asleep an hour ago, I'm trying to upload these videos earlier, about an hour ago, Bitcoin managed to break a very important level of resistance up here around $8,000, and as it turns out, for the several hours that I was asleep last night, it was up here testing it and hitting its head against this level right here at $8,000, and it did actually manage to break it. This candlestick right here is the big dog right there. That's what we're looking at. This candlestick, that one right there, is very important, because that signals that Bitcoin did actually break above $8,000. Now, can it come back down here and come below $8,000 and get rejected? Sure. I don't think that's going to happen at this point, though. I would be okay with Bitcoin coming down here and getting support at $8,000 or $7,800. I'm not totally convinced that that's going to happen yet. We'll have to see. But for the last week or so, Bitcoin had been hitting its head against $7,500, as we can see with this resistance level right here. Bitcoin continually got resistance at $7,500, which was kind of interesting, because it meant that the bulls and the bears were just basically in a deadlock, because the bears kept trying to push Bitcoin down. As we can see right here, they tried to push it down after a little spike in price action on this candlestick right here. And the bulls just weren't having it. The bulls kept pushing Bitcoin up against $7,500, and they did eventually break through it. Then we got up here to this level right here, which represented $7,750, which is right around where Bitcoin was last night when I went off to sleep. Now, that's an interesting level, because if we come out here to the day chart, we're going to see that that level corresponds with recent resistance over here in early June, where Bitcoin was trying to break out over here. We had an interesting little formation over there, and Bitcoin actually established an ascending triangle back here. I believe we have several videos on the channel talking about this time period, but Bitcoin got resistance on that same price level. And interestingly enough, that price level also represented the downtrend in the long-term descending triangle pattern, and we're above both of those now. Both of those were important levels of resistance. This one down here, the one down here at 7,750, that level right there was important, but the most important level that we've broken last night, and this is why I'm using the terms full-scale bull run and whatnot, is because we've just broken this downtrend. That long-term downtrend right there, we've just broken it. Now we haven't been above it for very long, so I'd like to see Bitcoin stay up here for another at least 24 to 48 hours to actually confirm a break above here. I don't want to see just a big candlestick and then a sell-off and a dump in the next 24 to 48 hours. That's not something that I would like to see. It could, I mean, it's still very possible that it turns into a false breakout, but for the time being anyway, we are above that downtrend, and we are currently breaking out of the descending triangle pattern that Bitcoin has been in for so many months. For like 5-6 months now, Bitcoin has been in this descending triangle pattern. And the reason that this is so important, guys, is because this is a massive part of Bitcoin's market structure. Now, Bitcoin has a couple of things that define its long-term market structure, and this descending triangle pattern with the triple bottom down here is a big part of that. And when you break a very important piece of market structure like that, a lot of times when you see something like that happen is kind of when the market actually decides to go and turn around. So I'm very excited to see that we're above this. We're going to be keeping up to date on that. One thing I also want to talk about is that RSI is kind of overextended up here. Bitcoin is a little bit overbought, sitting up here around 73 to 75 on the daily chart. Now, I'm not too concerned about that, because if we come back here to late 2017, the second half of 2017, when we were in these bull runs and we were hitting highs like right here, and especially up here, Bitcoin was hitting very, very high up in the RSI, getting all the way up to about 93 on the daily RSI. So I'm not too concerned about that, but that does signal to me that we are going to see a cool off in a little bit, and we're not going to just keep running for the absolute moon. Now, that's perfectly okay. Bitcoin is jumping right now. It's up about $40 since we started recording this video. That's interesting to see. Maybe we'll see another giant candlestick form in this video like we saw a little while ago. So it's not terribly concerning that the RSI is overextended, but at the same time, I would be okay with seeing Bitcoin come down and cool off a little bit. Let's get rid of RSI for a second. I want to show you another indicator that I don't actually use on the channel that often, but this is a good time to use it. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Bollinger Bands. Now, essentially what Bollinger Bands are is they have an average moving through the middle of them right here, this little average, and this is kind of the average level of price action. You see that average right there? That's kind of the average of what the market's price action is. And these outer bands, these are called the outer bands of the Bollinger Bands. These outer bands kind of represent the areas where if an asset, or in this case Bitcoin, goes beyond them, then that means that they're kind of oversold or overbought, in a similar way to how RSI works, but it shows you visually on the chart when the market's actually oversold and overbought, because typically if the market goes outside the bands, they're going to come back in within the bands pretty quickly. And we saw this happen back here, where Bitcoin ran up here, got outside the bands, and traded sideways for about 5 or 6 days to get back inside the bands, and now we're getting back up here and getting out of them again. So Bollinger Bands and RSI and everything is telling us that Bitcoin's probably going to cool off for a little while, maybe for a couple of days. So long as we can at least trade sideways or not go back below $8,000, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not at all concerned about Bitcoin topping out right here for the time being. If it just goes sideways, that's perfectly okay. We could set up like a little stair-step pattern here where we have that, and then maybe go sideways for a couple of days. Guys, I'm very, very, very bullish on Bitcoin right now, so long as we stay above $8,000 and we can stay up here for a couple of days. I am ridiculously bullish on Bitcoin, especially in the short term and in the long term. Now, let's talk about our moving averages, because you guys know I'm a big fan of moving averages, and we haven't actually talked about them all that much in this video. One thing that we saw Bitcoin do yesterday, or well, the day before actually, well, no, it was yesterday, was this candlestick right here was a very important candlestick, because we broke the 100-day simple moving average. That's this gray line right here. That's an important moving average for many reasons. If we come back here in 2017, I've already shown you guys this in other videos, but I'll show you again. If we come back here in 2017, that actually turned out to be a very important level of support for the bull run. So that shows us that that's an important moving average. We got support there, and support back there, and then earlier on in 2017 we also got support on it. So the 100-day simple moving average is an important moving average that I want to look at, and it's nice to see that we finally broken above it. The last time that we broke above it was back here in this kind of little false rally that we had in late April and the very first part of May. We did get above it there for a time, but then we eventually came back below it. Hopefully that doesn't happen again this time. But one of the most important moving averages that I'm looking at is out here on the weekly chart, and that would be the 20 weekly exponential moving average. Let me turn my simples off so you can see this a little bit better. That's this line right here. This level right here, this moving average is insanely important. I have a video up here in the top right that you should go watch. You should definitely go watch that video after this video is done. That's a very important moving average because I talk about different indicators that you can use to determine when a Bitcoin bull run is happening. And this is one of them, a break above the 20 weekly exponential moving average. This moving average right here that, as you can see, we've just broken above this week, is one of those indicators. Because if we come back here into 2017, first thing that we're going to notice is that Bitcoin continually got support on this moving average right there. Right there. If we come back even further, we're going to see that Bitcoin got all kind of support on it. Right there, right in here, right over here. Bitcoin got tons of support on it. And when did Bitcoin actually first get above this moving average? Well, it was here about halfway through October in 2015. And if you zoom out on the chart, you're going to notice that that marked the turning point for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets. October of 2015 marked the turning point. And when that turning point happened, that was the same time that Bitcoin got above the 20 weekly exponential moving average right there. So to see Bitcoin getting above the 20 weekly exponential moving average is an extremely, extremely bullish indicator. I'm very excited to see that so long as Bitcoin can stay above it. Now, guys, of course, for the next couple of weeks, there's still the possibility that Bitcoin kind of keels over and has a little false breakout. That's still very much in the cards. I'm in no way going to discount the possibility of that. I'm not totally convinced that it's going to happen. You know the old saying, third time's the charm. This was the first time, this is the second time, and hopefully this will be the third time and the good time. I think that we're going to see a good rally coming this time because the technicals are showing it, and also we have so much good news in the air. There hasn't really been that much bad news lately. We've seen a lot of good news. We've talked about a lot of it on the channel, and one of those big news stories that is potentially going to be coming out is an acceptance and an approval of the Bitcoin ETF proposed by VanEck. We have a video up here in the top right where we're talking about that. That's a big deal. If that ETF goes through, and just the news of that ETF going through will have a massive positive bullish effect on the market. And I'm very excited to see what happens if that does happen. I read a news article that like 97% of the comments that were submitted to the SEC were positive. It's looking like it's going to go through. A lot of the times the SEC will approve ETFs when a market is actually in the bear market. That's just kind of how it works, and a lot of times that does happen. I'm expecting that they will accept that, but just the fact that that news is on the horizon is giving people so much hope because that's really a big news sign. But anyway, guys, I think we've covered everything that we want to talk about in today's video. Let me see. No, there is one more thing we want to talk about. I wanted to show you the 50 weekly simple moving average, which is still above us, and then I want to show you the 200-day simple. The 50 weekly simple moving average is this red line right here. That would be this level right there that I just drew. That's an important moving average because we've historically gotten resistance on it, or excuse me, support on it. Back here in early February, right over here, we kind of got support on it. In a kind of, sort of, we did. It's not exactly perfect because the moving average was down here around 5,500. When you're on the weekly chart, $500, that's almost close enough to call that support, but we certainly got support on it back over here on the weekly chart in early April when Bitcoin pulled back to $6,500. That's the next level of resistance above us, and I'm very much hoping that Bitcoin can break this in the next couple of weeks, and I think it will if it continues this trend. I want to move back here into the day chart and then kind of wrap the video up. One more thing that I'm looking at, and this would kind of be the coup de grace. This is what would definitely confirm the bull run. I think the bull run has started if we can stay above $8,000 and keep our momentum. I think the bull run has started if we can keep those criteria, and especially if the Bitcoin ETF is accepted. But one of the things that will very much help with that and most definitely confirm that we've started the bull run is a break of this moving average right here. This represents the 200-day simple moving average, and that is a very important moving average. In a similar way to how the 20 weekly exponential moving average works. Sorry guys, I'm recording this literally 20 minutes after I woke up, so excuse the stuttering. I'm going to change my sleeping schedule so this isn't a problem from now on. But one thing that we saw with this 200 daily simple moving average was a similar thing that we saw back here with the 20 weekly exponential moving average. Bitcoin broke above this moving average in the same time that it actually kicked off the bull run back here in late September, or excuse me, mid-October of 2015. So this is another one of those kind of one of those kind of bull market indicators that we can look at to kind of determine when Bitcoin is potentially going to be kicking off a bull run. And if Bitcoin gets above that, that's another very bullish sign. Guys, we have a lot of bullish things coming up in the news. You can also look at them as two levels of resistance, the 50 weekly simple moving average and this moving average that we've just talked about here. If we get resistance at them, that's not great. I think we are going to break through them, though. I've got this gut feeling, guys. Once you've been in a market for long enough, you have a gut feeling, and normally that gut feeling will be accurate if you actually know what you're talking about. If you're new to cryptocurrency, be very, very wary of your gut feeling. It'll screw you over. But if you've been here for a while, a lot of times your gut feeling can at least be some kind of indicator, if not the most technical one. Let's put it that way. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Tell me in the comments section down below, what do you think? Are you happy first that the videos are going up 2 hours earlier? I think a lot more people are going to be able to see these videos in the morning. That's why I'm doing this. Hopefully this helps you guys. Also, tell me in the comments what you think of this bull run. Do you think the bull run has officially started yet? I think it has started with a couple of caveats. But I am very excited to see where this goes. Tell me in the comment section what you think. I'm very excited to hear your answers. I love reading the comments, guys. I read every single comment. Some people forget that, and they try to troll, and then they think that I'm not going to see it. No, I see every single comment, guys. And it's water off a duck's back if you want to troll. I actually kind of laugh at your troll comments. But anyway, guys, like I said, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.